All right. Good morning. Happy March 29th, 2024. Happy Good Friday to every single one of you folks. We have quite a special guest. I like to call this title the why behind the eyes when it comes to our CEO. And before I introduce him, I just want to get to know. Let you gotta get to know a little bit more about him because he began his career with the insurance industry back in 1989. And he was a part of the sixth generation when it came to the Milner family. So he's got 25 years of experience when it comes to insurance, the fully underwritten cases, annuities, final expense. But how in the world did he get his connection with North American Senior Benefits? And that's where our story starts to begin. And a lot of you don't know this, but back in January of 2014, he was named our chief financial officer. So he was overseeing the Milner office as well as North American Senior Benefits. So he is a whiz when it comes to numbers. If you ever get the opportunity to sit down with this gentleman and just pick his brain when it comes to stocks and mutual funds and investments, money, saving, everything, it will really blow your mind. Anytime I get around him, I'm always asking about money tips. And he became our CEO back in 2019, and we couldn't be more excited. That was back in November 2019. And he is married to one beautiful lady, Miss Holly, and he's got two incredible daughters, Sydney and Riley. As many of you know, Riley Perry, and 25 and 24. So we're just very excited, Lance. I'm so grateful that you're able to come on. But more than anything, I hope the entire world knows how grateful NASB is to have you as our CEO because not only do you bleed NASB, but your heart, your compassion, your empathy, and just your leadership. You are just a wealth of information. And I know I can speak for every single agent on this Zoom right now that we're just very, very grateful for you. Lance, do I have you, sir? Yes.
You do now that I unmuted myself. Hey, by the way, can we terminate Laura? Did you see what she said? Some agents weren't even born then. You're just trying to make me feel old. I tell you what. Uh,
Goodness, that's awesome.
and by the way, 25 years is how long I was out in the field like y'all were. I've
Yeah.
been doing this for 35 years. Since 1989 is 35 years. Yes, I've been doing it a long time.
Lance, what are you most excited about today?
Uh, Look, every day I'm excited when I get up at my age. But you know, let me tell y'all something. If you don't know me, I am very high strung, which I'm sure my daughters will tell you. Uh, Very demanding. Uh, and just to give y'all an example of how I am, uh, you don't want to be my employees. You don't want to be my spouse. And you sure don't want to be my kids because I am on you 24/7. I don't think Riley ever gets a pat on the back or Sydney. But I tell people in my office all the time, look, when I have a meeting, you're to be at that meeting 5 minutes early or you're late. Just so y'all know, there was 4 people on this call 5 minutes early, and there were 16 of y'all on this call at 8:30 when it was supposed to start. I think there's currently 45 people on. So you other people that weren't in that 16, if it was in my meeting, you wouldn't have been let in the door. That's how bad I am. If my employees aren't in the office in my meeting on time, doors locked, you're not coming to the meeting. Uh, that's how bad it is to work with me. So, you know, I think you should expect the same thing for yourself. I don't know what your time's worth. I know what my time's worth. Uh, Nobody should have to wait on anybody else. So I like the way I actually started this meeting at 8:30. That's the way meetings should work. So that gives you an idea of how I am and how I am to work with. Just wanted to kind of let y'all know that.
But even Lance, we've traveled the world together, and there is an awesome side to you. Yes, I would say the word. I wouldn't say the word high strung. Meticulous. I don't even like saying the word perfectionist. But if you've ever had the opportunity to sit in his car, you will not find one speck of dust at all in his Teslas. But I don't think that there's anything. I think maybe intentional would be a really great word for you. You're very intentional about the minutes, about the people that you hang around. And let's talk about the stats with NESB. Okay. So the stats when it comes to NESB, we've had an incredible growth over the past couple of months just in 2024. Talk to us about that.
Look, we're on track in 2 months, not even into March and April. The first 2 months of the year, we're at 19.8% up. that is phenomenal considering our biggest 2 months of the year are March and April, and it really picks up after that. So we're 19.8% over where we were in 2023 at this time, which puts us on track for $118 million of premium for the year. We broke 100 million last year. We're going to be at 118. Actually, it's 118.8 million is what we're on track to do. That is phenomenal growth for a company like ours. To give you an idea of how much growth that is, when Integrity bought us in 2019, they should be ecstatic about what they bought, because they bought a company that was doing $20 million a year in premium. $20 million in 2019, that's a 500% growth, over 500% growth in 4 years, a little over 4 years. We've had 500% growth from 20 million to going to be about 118, 119 million this year. And heck, at the pace we're going and the way we're growing with new people, the way y'all are growing your teams, that may be a small estimate of where we're going to be at the end of this year. Our lead growth, our lead company, we're lucky that we have the capacity to do it, but our lead company, we're up 550% in lead sales since Integrity bought us. Now, I don't care about selling leads. I don't care if I sell another lead tomorrow, ever again. I wish we could shut our lead company down, but that's what drives our company. Every time we sell a lead, that's what drives our sales. So it's something we have to have. I wish we got more referrals. That's be great. But it's the necessary evil we have to have. No lead, all leads suck. Ours just suck less than everybody else's. Ours are better. So that's why I wish we didn't have it, but it's what drives our business. So I'm glad we do have it, and I'm glad we have the best ones out there. And just so you know, if you've never been to the home office, we do about 1 million leads per week. 1 million leads go out the door per week. We have an 8-hour shift. With one shift, we're getting 1 million leads out. The good news about that is, without buying any more equipment, without doing anything other than hiring a couple of employees, I could open up a second shift and a third shift and work 24 hours a day and get out 3 million leads. So without buying anything, no more equipment, we literally could triple where we are today without making any changes to our lead company. So the capacity for us to grow is phenomenal. I'm looking forward to what's coming, because I don't see us slowing down anytime soon.
Amen. I mean, you're looking at a 550% growth when it comes to lead sales from 2019. But then what I love to see is, y'all, that's spectacular to go from 2019, 20 million in sales, just over the course of 4 years, 500% growth. That's what you guys are doing. And I couldn't be more excited about that. But what really separates NASB from everybody else? You are on conference calls every single day. You're on Zoom calls every single day when it comes to the competition, and the competition. All the IMOs out there. All the CEOs out there. What separates NASB from everybody else?
Without a doubt. I mean, y'all don't realize this, and you don't really care, but we're the only company at Integrity. We're one of 2 companies that produce their own leads from start to finish. There's only 2 of us. So we have total control. Our leads are better than everybody else's, without a doubt, period. I think Integrity knows it. They come to us and ask questions about it, how we do it. Nobody else can duplicate it. We've got a big advantage there. And I could give you a history as to why it's so much better, but that's more time than y'all need. But just so you know, I own the lead company. I own a mailing company that I sold. But because of that, I've been in every mail shop in the Southeast. I knew which ones were efficient, which ones weren't. That's why we've been able to make our lead company so much better, because we already have knowledge of how the mailing industry works. So that's a big advantage we've got. We have a family atmosphere because it came from a family business. When I started in this business, there was 4 of us. There was 5 of us in the business. 4 of us were family members. So it was really a family business, and we've kind of kept that family feel, not just in NASB home office, but I think that spread to our partners, and our partners spread it to their teams. I mean, I think we really, when we get together, we're like a big family. And I think the family atmosphere and the culture that we have at NASB is like no other. It's just something that nobody else has in our industry. And I know none of the integrity companies have it. And we're also the only company, this isn't something to brag about, but we're the only company at Integrity that loses money on leads. Everybody else makes money on their leads. We're not in the business of that's not our model. We're not in the business of selling leads. I could care less about selling a lead. Like I told you earlier, they cost us money, but it's the way our model works. We want to sell insurance. We want to protect lives. That's what we do on a day-to-day basis. It's not about selling leads. So I don't care if we lose money as long as we're making enough sales and keeping it in force long enough for us to make up that lead cost loss. So and I hear about it daily from Integrity about losing money on leads, but it's just what we do. It's our model, and that's what we let them know. So that's something that separates us. We're willing to do that. Nobody else is willing to lose money on leads. They don't want to lose money anywhere. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
I want to touch on, you said and mentioned the family oriented atmosphere and then the culture, the traditions that we have on this team. And I remember, many conversations that we've had, and your big thing that even when you hit CEO is that you just wanted to, I always say that you wanted to not change the dynamics, but you wanted to enhance the dynamics of the entire NASB nation and its culture. And I told you the other day that you've done a phenomenal job of that. One of our favorite times, especially just being with you, was sitting on the beach doing nothing. There was no agenda, and everybody was with their loved ones. And it was just so cool just to be so laid back, real, authentic. And it was awesome, just not having an agenda or anything. And it wasn't about work or business. And we were just talking about families and dreams. And Lance, that's what you've been able to cultivate here at NASB, and it's really been a ripple effect, in my opinion, throughout the entire nation. So I want to tap into the three whys. Your three whys as to why insurance. Why is it so impactful to you when it comes to this arena of life insurance?
So, and it's really one why. It's just my why has changed 3 times. I hope all of y'all have a why. And I tell Riley all the time, if you hire somebody and you don't know their why, you hired the wrong person. Don't hire them until you know their why. If their why is only money, I don't want them. They're going to leave you with debt. They're going to leave you with problems. They need to have a greater why than just money. If money is the only thing that drives you, this is probably in the place for you. But my why started out as, hey, look, I was 18 years old. I was the first of my generation by 12 or 15 years before Chad got in the business. I was the first of my generation to get in the insurance business. So, you know, you're the sixth generation. There's a lot of pressure. Most businesses don't last 3 generations. A lot of pressure to keep the business going. And I had gotten into a field where there's a lot of older people. So to me at that time, my why was the business was not going to fail on me. It was not going to be my generation that caused this business to fail. So a lot of pressure there, and that's really what drove me is the business was not going to fail on me, and it was a fully underwritten, a little different than what we do here at NASB now. We still have that in the Milner Group, but that really changed for me when Riley was born. We moved. We moved here to have we're in this office I'm in now. We moved to this location, and a guy helped me move. It was a good friend of mine. We played poker every Wednesday night. Um, Nicky Petropalo. He helped me move, and when we were moving, he asked me. He said, "Hey, uh, I need life insurance." Well, he was kind of a shorter, stocky guy, and I thought, let's check and see what he can do. Well, he was 5 pounds for making preferred best. 5 pounds. I said, you know what? Let's wait. Let's wait a couple. Get on a diet. He had a new wife, one of my best friends growing up in high school, and he had a new wife, a new business. He had just started his business. It was doing really well, making furniture. Uh, and he said, I said, let's wait. Let's get insurance as soon as you get preferred best. Instead of putting a policy in force right then, like you should now. Uh, I was 25, 26 years old. We didn't put that policy in force. I told him to wait. The next week, I get a call from his wife in the hospital, 2 o'clock in the morning. You come to the hospital. He was 30. He was a little older than me. We did. We went to the hospital. Uh, changed my why. We had to go in. My best friend and I had to go in and tell him goodbye with his wife. He died. Massive heart attack. Uh, sorry. From that point forward, I left that hospital that night. I talked to my best friends, 4 of them were there, my poker group, and I said, none of y'all are going home without an insurance policy. And from that point forward, and I hope y'all sell insurance and get to deliver a lot of death benefits. I hope it doesn't happen to you like it happened to me. but you will have somebody that doesn't buy an insurance policy, and you'll see them lose their house, their business, whatever, and you'll feel like it's your fault. That one probably was my fault because I could have put a policy in force. So that changed my why. That's when I realized what we do for a living. We protect families, we protect lives. It changed me for my whole career. Uh, you were getting insurance. If you didn't have insurance and you knew me, you were getting insurance. And it wasn't about me making money. It was about me not making dang sure I never saw that happen again. Um, and I've made a lot of money in this business. I've been doing it long time. Um, I probably saved a lot more money than I made, but which is hard to do. But in saying that, I didn't need this job anymore. And I would say 5 years ago, I was like, I need to start looking at retiring. A lot of stress in the job when we got bought by Integrity, a lot of pressure from a big corporation. I thought, I can probably do something else. I've saved up enough where I can live comfortably. Well, dang, if Ashley didn't get my stupid oldest daughter in the business. And so my why kind of changed again. Um, you know, your why is important, and that's why. Uh, my daughter got in the business, and as hard as I am on her, I wanted to see her be successful and have the opportunity that this business provides. The amount of money she can make, the lives that she can change. I wanted to see that, and I felt like me staying in this business, and I think I can help this business more than somebody else can. I think I'm better at it than whoever's going to take my place. Maybe that's cocky, that's arrogant, but I think that's the case, and I think me staying here is going to give her that opportunity. And what I've really seen is not only has she been able to have a great opportunity, and man, this business is taking care of her way better than I thought it would. To be honest with you, she's done well, lucky. But I'm seeing it even. She's brought in my family. She's brought in Bailey, Gabe. Uh, that's cool to see. So my new why is more about seeing how we change lives, seeing how we are actually. She recruited a girl named Leslie, and Leslie told me a story about her son. He likes riding motorcycles, which I raced motorcycles as a kid, and and how she wanted him to be able to ride and wanted to be able to spend more time with him. And I've seen her be so successful in this business, and she's busting her tail to be successful. But to see how it's changed her family and it's going to change her kid's life forever, that's my new why. Is I want to see lives changed, not just the people that are selling insurance, but their whole family. And that's what our business provides. And I'm blessed to be able to see it happen. So those are my three whys, and that's my new why. Uh, is I'm gonna be here probably till I die, watching lives change, and I'm excited to do
I couldn't agree more. And I know that our slogan many years ago
it.
started out with saying, "What we do matters." And I couldn't help but think, just in the moment, you just stories. NASB is all about stories. I was able to yesterday. I was telling you about this, and we love just swapping stories about just the. It's not even the success stories; it's the significant stories of massive impact. And being able to take my mom and my dad on a scavenger hunt yesterday. My mom turned 73, and I didn't even know this, that my dad bought and borrowed money, $345 for my mom's engagement ring. And she started getting arthritis in her fingers about 40 years ago. And so she hasn't worn a ring since. And I surprised her yesterday with a scavenger hunt. And I said, Mom, we took her to Perry's Emporium, and we know the owner there very well. And I said, pick whatever you want out. I said, jewelry, rings, necklaces, whatever you want. And she said, Ashley, is it okay if I pick out an engagement ring? And I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah. And to see her light up, Lance, it was like every struggle I had ever faced, every conflict, every piece of hard moment, it was worth it. Just to see my mom, the one that took care of me all these years, and my dad, like, it was just incredible. And we're so excited about the stories that all of you guys get to have as well. So, woo. And you know what? I'm going to say this very much so. You have probably the most stressful job. If anybody looked at it from the outside, you probably had the most stressful job of all of NASB. It's almost all the burdens get on your shoulders and you handle it so well. And all the partners, we are so protective over Lance and what he gets exposed to because we know he is the heartbeat of NASB. And so are you guys and all the agents and the leaders. But man, this guy, he's the pillar here with NASB. So we need to make sure that he is doing wonderful things and great things in his health and all that good stuff. So I'm very grateful for that. Now, let's kind of switch gears a little bit. How does coaching relate to business? You had 15 years of being a basketball coach, 6 years of being a soccer coach. I mean, coaching is in your bloodline. Talk to us about how that kind of ties in a little bit to your biggest pet peeve.
So it actually ties in. Look, coaching period ties into what I do every day. And Riley can probably vouch for this too. I was hard set every time I had my teams. First thing I told the kids, we're going to learn three things: fundamentals, knowledge, and a love of the game. And to me, the most important part of that is the love of the game. Every part is important, but the most important part was the love of the game, because I had them for an hour, hour and a half a day, and that's not enough to coach. You could teach them the fundamentals. You could teach them a little bit of the knowledge of the game, not a lot. But if you could teach them to love the game, they'd go home and watch it. That gave them a knowledge of the game. If you teach them a love of the game, you know, that made them come home and practice. I'd pull in the driveway. Riley'd be out there practicing for 2 hours by herself, throwing the ball off the wall because she loved the game. And that to me is the same as what we do on a day-to-day basis. If you love your job, you're going to be out there in the field busting your butt every day to help people, not just to make money, but you love what you do. And the fundamentals to me are knowing your products. That's also knowledge of knowing your competition. It's the same thing. Your fundamentals are knowing what you're doing, knowledge of your competitors, and love of the game is nothing more than loving going out there in the field and knocking on the next door. You don't. So the other three things I always taught in coaching is preparation, perspiration, and reassess. So preparation is what you do at practice. That's you knowing your presentation. Same thing as when you're in basketball, you got to know your prep. I never went into a game thinking I can lose. I guarantee if you ask Riley, did she ever think she could lose a game? She'll tell you no. I promise. I think we lost 3 games in 15 years. We did not go into a game. I knew my competition. I knew if they're going to go left, if they're going to go right. I knew their tendencies, and I taught my players. That's what we went over. This is what you're going to do. That's the preparation. The perspiration was preparing in practice, working hard. Same thing as you practicing your presentation, knowing your presentation, knowing the objections, knowing what. Look, once you've been in this business 3 months, you've heard every objection. Do you know how to overcome it? Reassess. After every game, I sat my players down. We went over, what did you do right? What did you do wrong? Each one individually. Every single game we did that. So you knew what to work on. If you're not reassessing what you do in the field, if you go do a presentation, you lost that presentation, you didn't get the sale, what did you do wrong? Reassess what you did. I really think if you're not doing those things in your job, same as we did in practice, you're not going to be successful. You've got to prepare. You got to do the work. You got to go knock on the doors, and you got to reassess what you did. What did you do right? Man, I used this word. That was a hot button. That really excited them. See if that works in every door. Know your competition. I knew my competition left and right. Do you know that so-and-so carrier, I won't mention their name, is a C-rated company? Y'all are probably running into them now. They just got downgraded by AM Best this year. They have less than $20 million of assets. And I can tell you in Georgia, they're running into them all the time. If you don't know that, what does it mean? When they do reinsurance and they have to reinsure at least 10%. How much reinsurance can they cover? We write over $1 billion with Mutual of Omaha alone of death benefit a year. $1 billion. If they only have $20 million of assets, even if they only keep 10% retention on their reinsurance, can they cover those claims? They can't even cover a close to what we sell with Mutual of Omaha alone. Imagine every IMO. Do you want that insurance company? Knowing your competition is key to doing your job. Don't just know your job, know your competition. Know your agents that are competing with you, know the carriers that are competing with you, know the IMOs that are competing with you. That's what you have to do, just like you want to know the team you're playing against. So there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. There's a lot of time that goes into that. It's not just knocking doors. Do the work, do the extra work. So that's how coaching definitely relates to, and Riley missed her calling. She's probably been the best coach we ever had, because that's what she had a knowledge of the game, and she prepared well. That to me is why she's good in this business. It really relates to our business. So I would tell you, do those things. Prepare, do the work, knock the doors, and then reassess what you did. Don't forget that part, because that's the way you improve and get better at what you do.
I don't know about you guys, but I hope you guys are taking a lot of notes, because I know I am. Seriously, Lance, you are on fire today. And again, I mean, anytime I'm around you, I'm just like, I just want to make sure I'm just constantly taking notes. I'm sure you've actually seen that, even if we're at the lunch table at dinner, I'm like getting out my cell phone and taking notes. Just such a wealth of wisdom. Now, looking ahead, okay, so you've been in this industry for 35 years. You know the competition, you know what we're up against as well. And I don't even like to say the word AI, but you kind of potentially could see, looking ahead, what do you foresee as the most significant opportunities, but then also challenges that you foresee in this industry when it comes to life insurance? And how are we, NASB, positioned to capitalize on that?
Well, look, technology definitely is where I see our opportunity going forward, and we have a big advantage, and we're going to kind of talk about that, I think, a little bit later. I'll kind of hit on that in a little while when we talk about some innovation and stuff. But technology is definitely an advantage we have, uh, because we have integrity behind us. The money and the power that they have is going to help us. They're really considered a technology company now. So that's what's going to change our industry. We'll get into that in a minute. I would say on our challenges, without a doubt, right now, our biggest challenges, and y'all are probably hearing about it, is placement persistency. Right? Carriers saw how much we were selling 8 years ago. The sales were just going out the roof in final expense. You got these big carriers, Transamerica, Mutual of Omaha, Aetna. These big carriers were jumping in the business. They wanted part of that. Well, now, because placement and persistency has gone down so much in the last 2 years, and I don't know really why. I don't know if it's related to COVID. I don't know what's changed. I don't know if it's our fault training and teaching these people, but if we can't fix the placement and persistency issue, carriers don't think about this. A carrier used to pay an underwriter $65,000 a year. Let's just say that number. Well, if they could underwrite 6 cases or 6.5 cases per hour, it cost them $10 an hour. Basically $10 an hour. They're paying them $65 an hour. It costs them $10 an hour to underwrite a case. So every case they underwrite, if they underwrite 6 cases, 6.5 cases an hour, it's $10 to underwrite a case. Now, because we have instant decisions, because technology has changed, we've got to pay for express scripts. We have to pay for all these electronic services that's costing them now $150 to $180 to underwrite a case. That used to cost them $10 to have an underwriter do it. So their underwriting costs, although we think of it as simple because it's done electronically, they're paying a service to do it. They don't do it. And those costs have gone up so much, they've got to place more cases to make money. The placement has to be higher. So they've got to make money because of the commissions they're paying have gotten so high. The commissions have continued to go up. Matter of fact, Transamerica is about to roll out a product that's going to pay 15% more commission than what they're paying now. That's not to be known yet, but yeah, now y'all know it. Well, because of that kind of stuff, it is literally their costs take 18 months to recover. Well, for them to recover costs, cases have to stay in force. That's persistency. So if we can't get placement persistency where it needs to be, carriers are going to be either terminating agents, being more exclusive on who they let have contracts, whether it be the IMOs or the agents that they let have contracts, and less carriers are going to be likely to jump in the business. That's going to hurt us. So if we can't fix that, we're going to have less choices of carriers and definitely less choices of big major carriers that are name recognition to help us, the AIGs, that type of name, Corebridge now, sorry, those type of names. So we need y'all's help there. And we're going to get better at it on our end, keeping y'all informed of what placement persistency looks like so we can get it better. But that's a major challenge that we've got to overcome, because if a carrier can't make money in the business, they're not going to get in the business, and you're going to see carriers leave the business, and you're going to see agents get terminated and be harder for you to keep a contract. Uh, and look, you don't want to lose Moo. That's one of your best carriers. You don't want to lose Trans. You don't want to lose these carriers. So, we've got to fix that. So that's our biggest challenge right now. And I see that probably being a challenge for the next 2 or 3 more years until we get a good handle on how we can fix it.
Lance, what is, in your opinion, the 3 quickest ways that we can today be the solution for placement and persistency? What would you say is like the top 3 things you do to increase that?
So since this is a recorded call, I probably won't tell you exactly what I want to tell you, but placement, look, a lot of it's because we're not doing our in and ups. We're not doing the underwriting up front, which is a lack of knowledge. You don't know your carrier's underwriting like you should. Um, Whether it be you or the person you're calling. A lot of your people you're calling on your in and ups may not know it like they should. And it's just, we need to get better at it. It's changing, which makes it hard for people to know. Underwriting has changed a lot in the last 2 years. And you know that, Ashley, because I know you keep your finger on what's going on the underwriting side, but everybody's not doing that. And that hurts us. So you gotta be better at where you're putting cases. Don't just throw it at the wall and see what sticks. Know this is going to be approved before you submit it, or have a good idea, a real good idea. That's going to help us on placement. I think that's our biggest problem on placement. On persistency, uh, you don't replace cases in the first 9 months. You don't place cases in the first 12 months. Carriers don't really look at it after 15 months. So, you don't want to replace a carrier unless you are replacing it for a reason. And I think so many times people are they're incentivized financially. They have financial gain. If you go out there and you say, I can sell Americo first, it's got the highest premium, but they'll buy it and they fit in that category. And in 12 months from now, I might be able to go back out there. No, they're not quitting smoking, period. But that's why you put them there. You know what? That's Do the right thing the first time, and I think you'll be rewarded in the long run. Don't sell something that hey, in 12 months I'll go do an annual review like I'm supposed to do, and I'm gonna replace it because I know I can sell them with Move, or I can sell them with whoever the carrier may be. That's hurting your placement. Carriers aren't making money on that. They're not going to keep you if that's what you're doing. And if you're churning business, if you're not doing it for a reason, the states aren't going to be happy about that either. So, don't replace business. Don't sell business to be replaced later. And somebody else might come in there and replace it behind you anyway, and then you're going to lose that client. And it may even get a charge back. So be smart about what you're doing there. Do the right thing the first time.
Absolutely. And especially when it comes to that persistency, we got to get that up. So are we doing the leave behind folders? Are we doing, whenever they get their policy delivered, are we messaging them? You should have a reminder that if you took care of, let's say, 10 clients last week, we'll have that reminder 2 weeks from now, because within 14 days, that policy is going to be at their front door, in their mailbox potentially. Go see them, talk to them, call them, thank you cards, Christmas cards, whatever it might be. Just get back in front of them. And even the automatic texting as well. I think that's so important, that especially when it comes to placement. We were talking about this just the other day about how, hey, it's not just the decline that affects the placement, it's also the first premium if that doesn't go through. So are we putting it in our calendar? Hey, remind Miss Johnson that that first premium is going to be coming out. Make sure that that money's in her account, especially that first premium. Nobody wants a chargeback in this industry. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit.
Hey,
And
one more thing about that. So a lot of times, and I see this a lot, I hear a lot of complaints about, they want to get past the underwriting, find they get underwritten. They'll put in all zeros for the account number. Do not do that. If anybody's doing that, they don't have the account number. They don't have a social security number. They just put zeros in. So a case needs that to go. So it gets issued, but it never goes enforced because people don't go back out and do what they should do to put. You've already sold the policy. Go back out when it's issued and make sure it gets put in force. So I've had a lot of people where they're either going too fast, they put in the wrong number, or it's carelessness, they put in the wrong account number or wrong. Riley, I'm calling you out. I just had Riley call me yesterday and say, hey, I put the wrong social security number on this because I had 2 social security numbers written down, one for the beneficiary, one for the insured, and she mixed them up. That's carelessness. There's no excuse in that. So that happens, and people don't go back and fix it. Now she's fixing it. She caught it. She fixed it. But A lot of people don't, and that hurts us on the placement side. And I'll say also on the persistency side, what step is it where y'all build the relationship? Step one. If you're not doing step one and building that relationship, building a bond with that client, somebody else will come in there and we'll build that bond and they'll replace your business. If you've got a good bond and you're communicating and you're using the technology we have to continue to communicate, text messaging them, emailing them, following up with them, going to see them after a year, that helps your persistency. And that's what you should be doing. So, and I know you want to make a new sale all the time, but keeping your business is just as important as making that new sale. So keep that in mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Ashley.
no. I mean, there's so much. And I mean, I would say this just in closing and wrapping up, okay? What is, and I have so many questions for you, so we might even have a part two hopefully soon. You pick it. I mean, you can see it here. I know that you even added some things on here. What would you say is, that last thing that you want to mention? I know that we've got the Life Center, the Lead Center, motivation, inspiration, leadership, legacy, impact. There's so many things that we could sit here and go over. But I want you to pick it. What's that one last thing that you want to mention to all of us?
So, and I'll tell you, the technology side to me is is something that we've got to do it. Nobody likes change, uh, but we've got to sometimes change. Integrity is spending millions of dollars. They have a whole floor, 130 employees that do nothing but develop software. That's all they do. They've developed the Lead Center. We're working on moving our system to the Lead Center eventually. I don't know how long that's going to take because we have to have ours very customized and we don't want to share our leads with other people. The good news is everybody else shares their leads with us in Lead Center. So all their leads that don't get sold, we can buy. We're not going to do that with ours. Ours are ours and ours alone, which is another thing that differentiates us. But that's important. The Lead Center, we're going to probably be moving to that. But the reason why we want to move to that is they've got a thing called the Life Center that's been rolled out recently. It's got a lot yet still to improve on. It's going to get better. So don't stop using it because it's not exactly the way it's supposed to be yet. But the Life Center is going to make it to where you can quote somebody, do the underwriting, get the quote, compare quotes. Um, you won't need Life Toolkit once we get this up and running the way it should be. Uh, It'll do all that for you. You can even take the application. They're going to be syncing with the carriers, so it tells you if it's issued, if something's missing. All that's going to be synced all the time. So you'll be able to see your cases, what their status is, all in the Life Center. It's all integrated with the Lead Center, and it's going to be able to do that communication that Ashley was talking about, where it can send a card, it can send a follow up, it can send a thank you note automatically. Hey, thanks for buying from me. I'll be calling on you in 12 months to follow up. It'll do all that for you, and you can customize it the way you want it. So the Life Center's out there. It's actually available to be used right now. If you do use it, don't be disappointed because it's still got some stuff that we're making changes on. But the technology and the way they can force carriers to take these applications, the way they can force carriers to do stuff, because of the large numbers that we have, the amount of volume that Integrity does as a whole is making it to where they can change the industry by forcing carriers to do what they should have done a long time ago in accepting applications and communicating back and forth with us electronically to show us the status of what's going on. That is what's going to change our industry. Integrity is doing that, and we just got to be willing to change and look at. And I'm resistant to. I've been pushing back on a lot of the Lead Center until they get it the way we want it, because leads is such a big part of our business. But I want it right before we roll it out. But we got to do it, and we've got to learn to do it. So just be aware those are coming. They're already here, but they're going to get better and change as we go.
So quick question, Lance, I know that it was already pretty much, we had a nice little training about it last week when it came to the Life Center. Are you saying that all the NASB agents should start using the Life Center right now?
It's out there for you to use it. If you've got a system you're using right now already, a CRM that's managing your business, if you're using Opt already, keep using that. But I would advise you to look at the Life Center. If you can start using it and it does everything you need, yes, use it. If it's not, and your system you currently have is doing everything you need, keep using that until it improves, because they're making so many changes. Like they don't have it where it can do the cards and the follow-ups yet.
Okay.
That's probably the next thing they're working on. So, I'm not telling you to switch yet because it's not there. If you're not using one, definitely use it. Start using it now because it's going to get better. But if you already have one you're using, it's not going to probably replace it yet. And it's going to be hard for you to change because people don't like change anyway. They don't want to change to something that's not as good as what they already have. So don't force yourself to do it. But yes, it's coming. You're going to be using it.
Okay, cool. So definitely here within probably a week to 2 weeks max, we will have a massive training on that for sure for all of you guys, big time. But definitely get your feet wet, folks, into this. I just want to say, Lance, I definitely want a part 2 of this because we have so many other questions that I want to ask you. So hopefully we'll get the opportunity to do that hopefully within the next month. And thank you so much for your time. It is your day off, and you chose willingly to pour into all of us. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, Lance, thank you. Thank you so much for your heart, your compassion, your work ethic, your example. You set the bar high. We have high standards here, high standards of excellence, and that drips down into everybody's organization. So I'm so grateful for you and everything that you fight for us, that so many people don't get to see behind the scenes what you do to fight for this company. So thank you so much, Lance. Folks, let's make it a great day. Let's make it a great Good Friday. Y'all take care. Thank you so much again, Lance. Bye-bye.
See y'all. Thanks.